Chapter 1. The Council's Assumption. The Galactic Council had always believed in their collective superiority. After centuries of exploring and colonizing their own sectors of the galaxy, the Council, a coalition of over 300 alien species, had decided that cooperation, not conflict, was the best way to preserve the galaxy's stability. They prided themselves on diplomacy and held treaties with countless planets. Yet one species baffled them: humans. Humans were a small-time species from a backwater arm of the Milky Way. Compared to the interstellar powers of the galaxy, they were still primitive. They had barely managed to send a handful of representatives to the Council, let alone control a significant amount of space. But one thing was clear: humans despised violence, or at least they claimed to. During the first encounters, humans had presented themselves as peaceful diplomats. When asked about their combat capabilities, they deferred, stammering and making excuses. Council members whispered rumors about how humans avoided warfare due to their delicate nature. If anything, their civilization seemed to be held together by fragile ideals and dreams of peace. To the Council, this implied only one thing: humans were afraid of war. "We have nothing to worry about from them," murmured Eldrick, a counselor from the warrior-class Corlon race, known for their armored hides and blaster-powered claws. "Their species lacks the stomach for conflict." With a unanimous decision, the Council classified humans as a low-risk species. They were allowed to integrate, but only marginally, treated with benign indifference and accepted into the Council on a probationary status. Humans, by all appearances, were happy to oblige. Then the Thargon War happened. Chapter 2. The First Strike. The Thargon Empire was an old enemy of the Council, a powerful, brutal race with an insatiable hunger for conquest. When the Thargon invasion tore through Council space, few were surprised. They had planned for this for centuries, but what no one could have foreseen was the scale of the onslaught. The Thargon brought a level of devastation unmatched in modern galactic history, razing entire worlds and decimating fleets with their relentless assault. As the Council scrambled to respond, it quickly became clear that they were overmatched. The Thargon were stronger, faster, and crueler than anticipated. The Council was in panic, but amidst the chaos, a message was sent to Earth. To the fledgling human representatives who still hadn't managed to acquire much respect or standing, it was a desperate, hurried transmission from Counselor Orin, a diplomat from the Eleth who had worked alongside humans. "We need every species to fight," she urged, her voice thick with the static of interstellar communications. "Please, send whatever forces you can, anything." The Council didn't expect much. Maybe some small squads, a token gesture. They expected appeasement. They expected humanity to ask for negotiations. They did not expect what came next. Chapter 3. The True Face of Humanity. The first human fleet arrived within days. Council observers aboard the Kutarak space station were astounded by the sight. Hundreds of warships bearing designs that were both strange and efficient filled the Council's designated battlefield zone. The Council watched, dumbfounded, as humans deployed with a level of coordination that left veteran species speechless. "Didn't they say humans despised violence?" murmured a Zerat admiral as he observed the precision of their formations, the deadly intent behind every movement. "Why are they so prepared?" Moments later, human captains issued orders, each pilot responding with unerring speed. And then, with breathtaking silence, they opened fire on the approaching Thargon ships. Human weapons were a blend of practical brutality and ruthless efficiency. Their railguns cut through Thargon shields with ease, while missile barrages pattered their hulls into oblivion. It was a symphony of destruction, one that belied the humans' alleged aversion to warfare. In the Council chambers, where the galactic representatives watched through holographic feeds, the astonishment was palpable. "Are these the same humans who spoke of peace?" whispered an Earth diplomat, her 4 eyes wide. But as the human fleet drove the Thargon back, humanity's darker history was laid bare for all to see. They hadn't despised war because they were weak. They feared it because they knew exactly what it entailed. Their past had been soaked in the blood of their own people. They'd endured centuries of warfare on their home planet before they'd ever reached the stars. Humans had learned the cost of conflict, and that knowledge made them far more lethal than any Council species could have anticipated. But the surprises were far from over. Chapter 4. The Ground Offensive. Humanity's Fleet W. On the space battle, but the Thargon forces had already landed on several Council worlds. Council species were resistant to ground warfare, with most relying on drones and automated defenses to minimize casualties. However, when the human Marines arrived on the war-torn Council worlds, they did so with a determination that bordered on zealotry. The Council troops watched in awe as human soldiers charged through enemy lines with surgical precision. They wore a standard-issue power armor equipped with neural interfaces that allowed each soldier to respond in real time, adapting to the smallest change on the battlefield. But it wasn't the technology that shocked the Council troops, it was the ferocity. Human soldiers fought as though they were born to it, dismantling Thargon warriors with ruthless, unflinching efficiency. Human ground forces brought with them a blend of tactics that no alien race had anticipated. They struck swiftly, moved in unpredictable patterns, and used every scrap of cover with expert timing. The Council troops, sheltered in makeshift bunkers and observing from the rear, struggled to comprehend the unyielding drive of the human advance. One soldier, a nervous Arctilian recruit with shimmering blue skin, looked up at his commander. "Are they even afraid?" The commander had no answer. Chapter 5, The Cost of Victory. Months passed, and the humans continued to fight, taking back world after world. The Thargon, once feared, were in retreat. At the Council's request, humanity had done the unimaginable. They'd broken an empire that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. But victory came with a price. Human losses were staggering. Thousands of human lives had been given to push back the Thargon invasion. Council races, though relieved, struggled to comprehend why humanity had risked so much. They could have demanded alliances, tributes, or a powerful seat on the Council. Instead, they asked for one thing: a return to peace. During a post-war meeting in the Council chambers, the councilors looked upon the human ambassador with both awe and newfound respect. Councilor Eldrick, the very one who had once dismissed humanity, rose to address the room. "Humans," he said slowly, his tone thick with an unfamiliar humility, "are not what we thought." The human ambassador, a seasoned veteran who had lost countless friends in the war, looked around the Council chamber. "You all believed we were afraid of war," he said softly, "but we weren't. We are afraid of what war makes us become. We understand its horror because we have lived it, so when we said we wanted peace, we meant it. But we were prepared for war if it meant protecting that peace." The room was silent. No one had expected humanity, with their soft-spoken representatives and fervent hope for diplomacy, to possess such terrifying strength. As the meeting concluded, Councilor Arin, the Eleth diplomat, approached the human ambassador. "What will you do now?" she asked, her voice tinged with curiosity and lingering dread. The ambassador sighed. "We'll go home. We never wanted this war, but if you need us again, we'll be ready." And with that, humanity's fleets withdrew, leaving the galaxy with a final humbling lesson. Humans, they realized, were not afraid of war. They were simply wise enough to understand its true cost. Epilogue: The Council's revelation. In the months that followed, the Council rewrote its doctrines, incorporating what they had learned from humanity. They reclassified humans from low risk to a status no species had ever held, ally of last resort. And from that day on, the galaxy held its breath, knowing that humanity was capable of peace, but also prepared for war.